Welcome back. As we hit the fall months, cuffing and cuddle season is upon us. You may feel ready to get out and get a bit more personal with your beau. So we're bringing in social emotional learning coach Dr. Marilyn Simmons Beau to give us ideas for fall dates and how to strengthen relationships and emotional bonds. Good morning, doctor.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm doing well, and you know, it still looks nice, bright and sunny where you are, and it's definitely still hot here in Sacramento. But as the weather does start to cool down, you do hear a lot more like this is the time that people get coupled up, or this is when you want to start getting under that blanket and cozying up to your plus one. So it's a great time to kind of strengthen those bonds, and we know that COVID-19 has had a big impact on dating and relationships.
Absolutely. And this is why I'm setting the stage outside, because before the winter months set in and after the COVID shutdown, in order to strengthen relationships, we need a different environment. We need to rekindle those little things that used to make us go, wow, because social emotional learning is about how we interact, communicate, and respond to each other. And everyone knows that during the COVID shutdown, this has been a challenge for relationships of every kind.
Oh, for sure, no doubt. So you specialize in social emotional learning, and that has a direct impact on dating and relationships?
Absolutely, because as I stated a few minutes ago, social emotional learning is about our self-awareness and how we interact, make choices, as well as create boundaries. And that's what a relationship stems from. And the success of a relationship is based on the choices that we make, the boundaries that we set, and how flexible we are. In addition to that, relationships are about accommodation and not compromise. I prefer to say, as a social emotional learning coach, that when we compromise, somebody loses, but when we accommodate, everybody wins. And so this is why it's important for us to understand how we interact, why we do the things we do. For instance, that little quirk that your significant other has that made you go swooning when you first met him probably drove you crazy. That same little quirk probably drove you crazy during the COVID shutdown.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, I don't know personally, but yeah, I'm sure that does happen. Okay, so when we talk about the fall season, you're saying that this is a great time to kind of reconnect, strengthen some of those emotional bonds as well as the relationship. And we always hear that phrase, never stop dating your partner. So you're going to give us some date ideas.
Yes, absolutely. And as I said, fall is a time to get out, especially this fall, because this is our first real fall since 2019, basically. And so why not do something different? Get out and go to a winery. I know out in California, that's great because you have lots of wineries. Go on a hike, but don't just go on a hike. Go on a hike with a scavenger hunt so that you and your partner can add some excitement to that walk. You can learn more about each other, how competitive you are. Rekindle that whole initial dating vibe. What about going to a pottery class? Maybe an outdoor setting somewhere in the Mesa Valley or up in the hills, maybe down to Big Sur, up to Big Sur. Are you up or below Big Sur? Something like that, where you can get to know each other, those little sparks, etc. Because as we all know, during the shutdown, everything shut down. At first it was exciting. We got to spend all that extra time together. And then it was this tugging of the blankets and who gets what space on the couch. So let's take it outside and redo that all over again.
Doctor, you are so right. And I think we should note that adults, grown-ups, we need to do this without the kids. You need to reconnect without the kids there. Dr. Simmons Beau, thanks so much for joining us today. If you want more on social emotional learning, visit drmarilynsimmons.com.